getting very clear on the way that you see yourself and what your beliefs are about what you're capable of and about life itself. If you think that you are separate from life and you think that you are just little me, I think that I'm just Sean and I'm trying to like figure out the world and trying to like get by and get through it. That's a very small, condensed possibility of what my life's going to look like. And oftentimes that will just be from a place of imitation that I saw someone else do. But I know, I know that we are here to express and bring to life that which is within us. I mean, this is what the greatest teachers that have walked planet Earth have always been saying in different ways. This same thing. But when you start to like realize it for yourself, that's when things start to actually change. And it is a responsibility of ours to confront the fears and the limiting beliefs that try to that do keep us rooted in the old identity, old reality. This is what's possible. You know, I think of that cliche line of what you put your mind to, you can experience or you can achieve. And I had various experiences of that phrase throughout my life of what I thought about it and how it felt for me and how it landed. And now it's starting to become more and more like, oh wow, that is actually true because the more I understand the nature of reality, this quantum connected soup that we're all in that responds to our electromagnetic pulse that gets put out from our heart and the thoughts that we send out electromagnetically from our brain, those are interacting. And so it is a co-creative dance. And when you know that, you have to take responsibility for the thoughts that you think, the words that you say, the inner narratives that you cultivate for yourself, because that's the game that you're playing. And we can either play the game that we inherited from childhood, from what we were told, from our coping mechanisms of trying to survive in a crazy place that we felt like powerless in because we were kids. We were trying to adapt and fit in, right? We're either going to play out that narrative for the rest of our lives, and reality is going to just reflect that back to us, and we're going to keep getting more of the same, or we take agency and say, I this is the time I write my own story. This is what life wants for us. It wants us to create from our heart, from that inner blueprint, that unique self. It wants us to write that story that only we can write, to bring things to the world, to see things through that unique self perspective that only we have. And that's where our value comes from. And then life so beautifully gets to start giving that back to, oh, here's a guy who loves himself. Oh, here's a guy who believes in himself. Now I can bless him with those things. I was always blessing him all along, but I could only give him what he was giving himself. When you realize that, everything changes. And I'm not talking about just like putting it on the bookshelf of your brain conceptually. Like I'm talking about really living this and doing what you got to do to sink it into your body and get it into your subconscious. Because if you don't, like me, you'll spin the tires for a very long time and do useless things and play mind games with yourself and realize like, wow, I just experienced those truths as concepts and I didn't do anything with them. I got caught up in the distraction and I kept doing shit the old way. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Zero shame, but it's going to build up frustration and anger and resentment and lack of fulfillment, and that will build up, and that's your own soul being like, all right, he's not listening, so I gotta create like deep levels of pain that are going to get him to move forward and break free from those patterns. And it's all for our own evolution, and that's amazing and beautiful. And um yeah, I would say, to me, that's like one of the biggest places to look at.